Hello students, so I am going to teach you one of the most interesting chapter from your literature book Moonbeam, chapter number 6, the old sea dog. So what we have to understand, this is actually this is an excerpt, okay, you must have read a few excerpt, okay, this is actually an excerpt, right? Excerpt is what is the meaning of excerpt? If you are taking a small portion of a composition from a voluminous one, that is actually known as excerpt. It is from a Treasure Island by R.L. Stevenson. That is a very voluminous novel meant for the children. It is considered as a children classic, a picaresque novel or a kind of an odyssey, but here we are only focusing on the thing, we are reading only a small portion. That's why it is an excerpt, and it tells about a man, clear, who was a pirate but a kind of an unsocial man, and he's dealing with the local people. Okay, let me read it for you. Okay. Squire Craneville, Dr. Livesey, and the rest of these gentlemen having asked me to write down the whole particulars about Treasure Island. Okay, the Treasure Island is actually a fictitious land, the way we are having what was the there are many fictitious land which is considered to be replete with many treasures, and treasures hunters they go to that place in order to search, or they go to those places in a quest of those treasures. So the Treasure Island is actually not a real place, rather it is a fictitious place, means imaginative place. Okay. El Dorado, the way the El Dorado, you must have heard El Dorado, similarly Treasure Island, okay. From the beginning to the end, I take up my pen to do their bidding. Here the writer is stating that their Squire Craneville, Dr. Livesey, these gentlemen had just insisted me that why don't I write my experience about the Treasure Island, and what? I take up my pen to do their bidding, means I take up my pen, means I thought of writing. Clear, because they have requested me. I go back to the time when my father kept the Admiral Benbow in, and the brown old seaman with the sabre cut first took up his lodging under our roof. So he became nostalgic, and he had to means as a writer he was willing to start from and he thought from where to start. So he started describing about he started his writing with the description of an incident about his father when he started an inn named Admiral Benbow, and about a very weird customer, okay, who is having a sabre cut, means he was having a deep cut on his incision or a cut on his face. I remember him as if it were yesterday. So the memory is so clear. It seems that it is just an account of yesterday. As he came plodding to the indoor, what is the meaning of plodding? Means when you just wander here and there without having a serious intention of going somewhere, that is actually known as plodding. He sees chest following behind him a hand barrow, a tall, strong, heavy, nut brown man. So that man was of not a usual fair complexion foreigners or the Britishers, right? He was having a nut brown complexion. This is suggestive that that man must be having a tanned complexion. His starry pigtail falling over the shoulder of his soiled blue coat, his hands ragged and scarred with a black broken nail, and a sabre cut across one cheek, a dirty livid white. Clear? So I remember him looking around the cover and whistling to himself as he did so. Then he rapped on the door with a bit of a stick that he carried, and when my father appeared, called roughly for a glass of a rum. So he had given an entire description of the man in a question. So that good the memory of that of the writer in concern, he has stated that there was the man in a question was a very soiled man, means he was not neatly dressed. And he is having a scars on his face, scars on his hand, clear, he is having a pigtail, clear. So altogether he appears very despicable, means from a very standard, from a common standard, the man in a question used to look very very despicable, clear. What is the meaning of despicable? The person who is not attractive enough, okay, the person who is not attractive. So he was having a very weird personality, and he rapped at the door, and when the father opened the door, he talked to him in a very coarse manner. This is a handy cob, said he at length, much company met. So you will find the way he is talking is normally is not of a usual way of talking. He is using his words in a very peculiar manner. So what he says, that it is a nice refuge. What is the meaning of handy cob? A nice refuge where one can take a shelter. Okay, much company met. My father told him no, a very little company, the more was the pity. So what he says, do the people come often? So his father stated, the writer's father, no, the place is a little bit secluded. People rarely come over here. Well then, said he, this is the berth for me. Okay, I will stay here a bit, he continued. You might call me captain. He threw down 3 or 4 gold pieces on the threshold. You can tell me when I have walked through that, said he, working as fierce as a commander. And his body language is very commanding, but at the same time very repulsive too. The way he is giving him a money, that he is just throwing money, which is something which is very odd from a standard measures. So what he stated, when this money will be finished, just remind me, because I am going to stay here for a day or two. He was a very silent man by custom. What is the meaning of usually? By custom, usually this man was a silent, a kind of a taciturn. What is the meaning of taciturn? Taciturn is the word. A person who speaks very less is known as taciturn. Usually a kind of a taciturn. Okay. All day he hung round the cove or upon the cliff with a brass telescope. All evening he sat in a corner of the parlour next to the fire and drank rum and water. So he was not in a habit of talking to anyone. He was an explorer by nature. He used to carry one telescope in order to view the distant object, and he used to remain wandering over those cliffs and those moods and all. And in evening, when sun is already down, there is a repellent darkness, so he used to come and normally silently he used to drink rum and water. Okay, mostly he would not speak when spoken to. So he was not involuntary speaker. Clear, he was not an involuntary speaker. Only look up sudden and fierce and blow through his nose like a foghorn. Foghorn is a kind of a musical instrument, a wind instrument, clear? Okay, and which do have a very jarring noise and jarring sound, clear? Okay, and we and the people who came about our house soon learn to let him be. So if he is means if someone tries to speak to him, he used to answer him in a very rash manner. Rather, he used to yell on them. So people preferred to maintain a distance. Every day when he came back from the stroll, means walking, he would ask if any seafaring men had gone by along the road. At first we thought it was the want of a company of his own kind that made him ask his question, but at last we began to see he was desirous to avoid them. So whenever he used to come after his strolling, but or rather we can say whenever he come inside the inn during evening in order to have his rum and water, he used to ask or inquire the same question about any other seafaring man, means a sailor or a captain, clear? Initially the people thought that he want a company of like-minded people, but gradually people were able to comprehend that this man is intended to avoid them. Okay. He had taken me aside, means at corner, one day and promised me a silver 4 penny on the first of every month if I would keep my eye open for a seafaring man with one leg and let him know the moment he appeared. So So after asking a continuous questions every day in day out, this man got tired. So he had taken the writer when he was quite young in his confidence, and he offered him, rather he lured him by stating that I am going to give you this much at every beginning or the end of the month, but what you have to do, you have to be very vigilant regarding regarding the person the way I have described. Clear? If the fellow comes, clear, you have to intimate me as soon as he comes here. But though I was so terrified by the idea of the seafaring man with one leg, I was far less afraid of the captain himself than anybody else who knew her. So the things were quite peculiar or abnormal in case of this writer. Clear? The description of the seafaring man with one leg, didn't intimidate this small boy. Rather, he was more afraid of this person who just introduced himself as a captain. Clear? So we can say maybe because he got lured with the money, he accepted his offer. Maybe he got intimidated with his personality, so he accepted the offer. Whatsoever may be the reason, but this boy, small boy, is under a continuous pressure. His stories were what frightened people. Worst of all, dreadful stories, they were about hanging, walking the plank, the storms at sea. My father was always saying that the inn would be ruined, for people would soon cease coming there to be tyrannized over and sent shivering to their beds. But I really believe his presence did us good. So there was a variation in opinion, right? There was a variation in opinion. This man, whenever he used to be intoxicated, he used to state stories about hanging, robbery, this kind of thing, stealing. So all those gruesome story. Clear? So father used to think that this man is going to ruin my inn, because the customer after listening to his dreadful stories would never turn. But the small boy is having a different opinion. What he is thinking, that people love adventure, people love thrill, so they may come in order to listen to the dreadful stories of this old sea dog, or this peculiar captain. Okay. People were frightened at the time, but looking back, rather they liked it. So it was a fine excitement in a quiet country life, and there was even a party of the younger men who pretend to admire him, calling him true sea dog and a real old soul, and such like names. So there was a mixed opinion. Okay, so there was a kind of a love and hate relationship of this man, this captain, with the local people, right? They used to hate him, at the same time they used to love him. Clear? So the young bloods, they easily got affected with the stories of thrill and adventure. They even have nicknamed this person as an old sea dog and an old salt, whatsoever. But what we find, that he was negatively very popular among the localites. Okay. In one way, indeed, he bade fair to ruin us, for he kept staying week after week, and at last month after month, so that all the money had been long exhausted. So, and still my father never plucked up the heart, so insisted on having more. So what? At the same time, he was just calling the customers by stating his dreadful, adventurous story, but at the same time, he was ruining them by not paying him. By not paying him in a proper manner. So there was a they were gaining as well as they are facing the loss because of the presence of this man. And the father was a timid fellow. He never he was never able to muster all his courage and go in front of the man and demand the money which that man actually deserved to have. Okay, if ever he mentioned, the captain blew through his nose so loudly that you might say he roared and stared my poor father out of the room. And even if he tried, this man used to get so fumed up, so furious, that he used to roar, shout so loud, and he used to act so rash that his father, means the writer's father, immediately was in a habit of leaving the room immediately, and he tried to maintain a huge gap between this man and himself. Hope you people have understood this chapter till yet. Next will be on the another part of the video.